Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to week 2. Still a lot of you. So let's see here. I think I got everybody registered for the course who showed up on the first night and still wanted to be in the course. If you're not registered for the course and haven't reached out to me yet, please do so now. I don't know if I can still get you in because there are a lot of people, but we're going to try it with, I think, 56, 57 people registered. Big course, but I want to make it as accessible as I can, so we'll give it a try and see how it goes. Okay, before we start out, how are things going with Project 1 and the cones? I hope everybody started. People are nodding. Hopefully not nodding off quite yet. Okay, good. Any questions about Project 1? Anything that you're wondering about? Any interesting observations? Anything that surprised you? Nope. Okay, cool. If you have, there were a couple questions asked about it. On the Google community. Please read over that if you haven't already. And if you have other questions that you think might be appropriate to share with the rest of the class, please feel free to do so on the community. Okay, cool. How about the cones? People started that? Is it working for everybody? Got in the whole Maven projects and stuff? Okay, good deal. The advice that I'll pass on to you from former students is that there are a lot of cones. There's like a couple hundred of them. And while each individual one is pretty fast, taking an aggregate, it takes some time. And so I recommend that you do, a couple every day, sit downs or dedicate some time to plow through them. Because, well, as we'll see a little later on tonight, there's more stuff coming. So it's some stuff to balance, but it's it helps you learn the language while you're also applying it in the projects. Okay. Anything else? No? Kirash, are you here? No? And okay. I'm hoping that the grader will show up. Okay, because I want to do some pair programming with him. So okay, let's see here. Let's start off with a couple of the handouts. So I mentioned these last week, and we'll go over them formally today. Okay, so documenting your code. So I think it's especially important as students that you can express what you're doing in English in addition to code. So it helps you think about in maybe your native language, or at least your spoken language, what it is that you're trying to communicate in your code, what your software does, and also how it does it. So there are two mechanisms that you'll use in this class to document your code. The first one is called a plan of attack. So starting with Project 1, part of the assignment is to submit what's called a plan of attack, a POA. And basically what a POA is, it's a concise written description of what your program does and how it does it. It's like a little design document. And I do mean little. So this is not like 30 pages of documentation. This is like a couple, like 3, not even 5-paragraph essay. This is like just saying, hey, here's what my project does. And for Project 1, it doesn't do a lot. So I'm not really expecting a lot, but it gets more complicated. Or as the projects get more complicated, plans of attack, I would expect to be longer and with more detail. So please send me an email that has text, so don't attach a PDF or a Word document or whatever, just type it into the email, that describes how you'll implement your project. And this is worth 1 point of your project grade. So the POA is due 3 days before the project is due, which is Sunday night. Right, so the projects are due on Wednesday night. The POAs are due on Sunday night. Please email it to me at that address, or if you use my Google address, that's fine too, but use that one. And please include the letters POA in the subject. I filter all those out into a separate email, and then I go through and I grade them all at once. So please, if there's something urgent, don't put the letters POA in the title. Or use a 0 or use some leet speak or whatever. Right? They even talk about that in the So let's see here. And unlike the assignments, there's no late credit for a POA. So please do it. And of course, the hidden lesson in all of this is that I want you to think about your project before doing it. So so if you try to start at the last minute, well, if you don't do a POA, you'll lose that 1 point. Yeah.
So the text format, is that just attached as a text document, or
inline would be fine. I think I'll handle it if it's attached as a text document. That's fine. But my preference would just be paste into the email. Yep, stuff like that. Okay. Good deal, and hopefully this will let you give you an opportunity to sort of focus on the whole of the assignment to figure out what all the pieces parts are before you implement them. Any questions on the POA, on the plan of attack? No. Okay. Java docs and the README, other stuff like that. So in addition to sort of writing about writing a little bit about your program before you write it, as you are developing your code, documentation comments are part of what I'd like you to do. So there's a standard called JavaDoc. It's not really part of the language. I guess the fact that there is a documentation comment that's /** and // that's part of the language. But then there is a convention, a standard for what goes inside those JavaDoc comments. You can read about that here. And what these comments allow you to do is describe the program element that follows them. And we saw this a little bit last time, right? So here's an example right here for student. Here above the student class is a documentation comment that describes what the student IT class is. And here for student, this constructor is preceded by a documentation comment that talks all about what this constructor is, names all of the parameters, etc., etc. And I'd like you to experiment and learn how to use these JavaDoc comments in your code. So I have one of my test cases for every program. I go and I run a tool that extracts out all of your comments and sort of prints it out. And so then I can say, hey, look, most of the methods have comments, but not all of them. I'll advise the grader to ding you a little bit for that. I also encourage you to take some time and read over Google's style guidelines for Java. It's good stuff. It's kind of evolved from the ones that Sun put out a long time ago. And so the nice thing about following style guidelines is that by using a standard, Java code tends to look the same. And so then you can read other people's Java code and vice versa. I won't be grading you on your style. This is just sort of a learning opportunity for you to learn how to write, Java code that lots of people can read. And finally, as part of each assignment, there is a README functionality, which is smaller than the POA. The POA sort of says how, talks about how the program is written. The README talks just more about what the program does. So each project each command line project has a -readme switch that prints a brief, concise, and nicely formatted. So please, wrap your lines of text and stuff like that. A description of what your project does. Please also make sure that it includes your name and which assignment it is. And it should be more than just command line usage. So command line usage is fine to have in the README, but it should have a little, a sentence or two about what the program actually does. And note that when -readme is specified, your program shouldn't do anything else. So including error checking and further parsing the command line and stuff like that. So if you see -readme, just print the README and exit. Oh yeah, and note that your README is hard-coded in your program, so you have multiple lines of text. It'll look a little ugly and stuff like that. That's okay. You guys can deal. Please, it shouldn't reside in a text file. Don't. I suppose you probably can't download stuff from a website or from a URL or something. I do run when I grade your projects. I do run it inside with security turned on so that you can only access certain things. Yeah.
So if we have the README flag set for project 1, do we also ignore print or any other options or any other arguments as well?
Yep. So yeah. So if you have -print or if you have a malformatted malformed date, you ignore all that stuff. Just print the README and exit. Missing command line arguments also, so pretty much guess what the test case is going to be, just dash readme and nothing else. Good questions.
So you should just be able to execute the project like the main artifact, like the I guess what I'm trying to say is like the artifact, your target artifact for the kind of project would just be like something you can type on the command line with the dash readme option, and it should print out. That's kind of
exactly. So you'll run your main. So you'll say java dash jar, name of the jar, dash readme, nothing else, print the readme and exit. So it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't issue an error message saying like, oh, missing arguments. Nope, readme was there. Don't do that. Shouldn't get a null pointer exception. Shouldn't complain about a malformed date. Print the readme and exit. Good. Okay. Any questions on the documentation handout? Excellent. Okay. Okay, so you've done all this work, you've implemented your project, great, now you gotta get it back to me. So luckily no one has shown up to class with like a 3.5-inch floppy disk and handed it to me, right? That's what I had to do when I was in college. Instead, I guess you can use D2L to submit or whatever. I'm not a big fan of D2L. I find it far too manual. So long ago, I wrote myself a program that you can use to submit. Actually, you must use to submit your projects. And the nice thing about this is that it allows me to do some error checking, make sure that you're submitting all of your stuff, so you don't have a long back and forth like, oh, you forgot to submit this file, or oh, hey, this thing doesn't have the right name and it breaks my script, stuff like that. So there's a program called edu-ptx-cs410j greater submit, and you give it some information, and what it does is it validates some things. Takes all your source files that you specify, puts them into a jar file, attaches it to an email, and emails it off to the TA. And then I've also got another program that will go and download all those emails, extract the submission, and then put it in a place so it can be graded. But you don't run that, I do. Here's how the submit program works. It's got some options and some arguments. And so you basically tell it, okay, what project you're submitting, who you are, what your so your name, your login ID, your email address, and then, one or more, although I think you can't submit fewer than 3 because every project has at least 3 files. If you write more files, then submit all the files that you need. Put all that on the command line and then run it, and everything should be okay. By the way, you must run this, I think you must run this from one of the CS Unix machines, so either the Solaris or the Linux machines. Because it uses that SMTP server to send the email. And so then for project 1, I've got 3 I've got 3 files of project 1, the appointment.java and the appointmentbook.java. And so then, so that's not exactly the right path. This predates the Maven archetype, but you can probably figure out what I mean. So let's run the command line from here. Say who you are, and you can have an optional comment that will be submitted, and then those 3 files will be uploaded. Oh, note that this is from like a Unix shell, so the backslash is a line continuation, so that's all one big long command line. So running the command will do a little bit of validation, make sure things are in the right directory, make sure you've submitted the right number of files, and that the project is the name of the project that you expect, so it must be called capital P project 1 for project 1. It will do a little bit of validation and say, hey, this is what you want to submit, and say, yes, it is. And so it'll create a temporary jar file and email it to the grader. You will get a receipt saying, hey, here's what was submitted. So we're going to talk about here? Yeah. So a couple of notes. You can only submit .java files. We don't want class files or anything else. It's important that your source code structure is correct. The Maven archetype, if you're using that, takes care of all this for you, so shouldn't be a problem. Again, only submit your code. You're not so much a problem now, but in years past, before I had all the Maven infrastructure in place, Some students would like try to change like the abstract appointment and submit that. I'm like, nope, that's against the rules. I don't want that code back. I'm going to use my code for my stuff, and then your code needs to work with it. Please make sure that your code compiles before you submit it. Maybe it makes it easy, or you do a Maven clean and then like Maven verify or something to run all of your to compile all your code and run all the tests. It's embarrassing for everybody involved if the grader takes the time to start grading your test and then like everything blows up because your code doesn't compile. And so that's just something that you should check. Oh, if there's something that either is missing or you want the grader to know, just make note of it in the comment option, and I think either I or the grader will see it. Also, please submit all of your all the files required for the project. Don't like submit files like each individual file because that'll be hard to extract and deal with. Just do it all in one. As I said last time, it's okay to submit multiple times before the due date. You're not going to get penalized for it, but please, be courteous of the grader's time and mine too. I guess I'm the one that extracts the submissions. So then, we want the grader focusing on grading and not on the overhead of trying to get everything downloaded from the emails and they're on disk. Because you're submitting using an email, we have a timestamp on it, and this is how we determine whether or not your project's late. We just look at the timestamp on there. And if you're having any problems submitting, which hopefully you don't, there is a verbose or a save jar option. You can use an SMTP option to use a different SMTP server. I don't recommend it though. I don't support it. I haven't really tried it out. So it works best for everybody if you submit stuff from the assist machines. That's also what we grade on. So then, I recommend that after you're done developing whatever environment you're comfortable and familiar with, that you, transfer your files off to the CS machines and then run all your tests, build all your code there, just to make sure that it all compiles and runs the way you expect before submitting it off to me for grading. Okay, any questions on all that? Cool. Has anybody submitted something yet? Does it work? Is it? I can't remember if anybody submitted anything yet. If not, okay. Let me know if there's a problem. I think I asked the course assistant to ask Kirosh to try it out, and I think it works. Okay, good deal. Any other questions? No. Okay. Let's go. I want to do a little bit of programming. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so back to our not long-suffering, but just regular suffering student. So it's been a week, and we've been working on this student test. I want to do some more test-driven development here. So we started with this. With the student integration test, which sort of does the big end-to-end thing. So like at the end of the day, when I invoke my main method with these arguments, I should get this big long string written out to standard out and have xcode equal to 0. So I know this doesn't work yet, that's why I've got ignored, but I want to make some more progress. So this is like the big end-to-end test. I started working on my unit tests. And let's see here. That's right, I had some simple tests for name, making sure that the getName method works and that the toString contains the student's name. I did the same with GPA. So that's where I'm at right now. What should I test next? What's the next thing I should be looking at? What do you think? Sorry, what?
Why did we ignore that test?
Because it doesn't work yet, right? So let's see here. What do we got? We haven't run it in a while, so let's just see where it's at. If I run it here, will it ignore it, or will it? Let's see here. It says ignored it. Oh, but it does say, okay, great. So it was expecting this big long string, but doesn't output anything yet, which is true. I haven't really built out the main method yet, so it doesn't surprise me too much. You know, we could probably have a similar test, not through invoking the main. This is the integration test. We could have a similar test for just working on the student, perhaps. And that might give us sort of another place to validate it. So let's do that. So let's see here. Let's call this public void student end-to-end. Not end-to-end. Like all student attributes are included in toString. Okay, and so let's see here. Now, so we'll create a new student. I'll call him Dave equals new student. What do we got for parameters? The name is Dave. The class is come back to that one. GPA of 3.4. Sorry, wait, 3.64. And the gender was male. And then the classes, sure. New array list, and I got to populate that one with. I'm going to do a split screen window. Come on. Editor tabs. Split vertically. Oh, not. Well, I can scroll over here. So go up over to the student IT over here. Okay, great. There's 3 classes. Algorithms, operating systems, and Java. So classes.add. Algorithms. Classes.add. Operating systems. And classes.add. Java. These are yellow. Uncheck call to add of E as a member of raw type array list. Guys know what that means?
You need to specify the generic as a string.
Yes. So collections, as you'll see in, well, the collections lecture, can be have types that are parameterized. So it's a collection of something. So I want a collection of strings. I want an array list of string here. And if you don't have the type variable, it's just an array list of anything, which sort of defaults to object, because everything in Java is a capital O object. Let's see here. This is yellow because an unchecked assignment. It's always an array list of anything, called a raw type, an array list of anything, and you're assigning it to an array list of string, and it doesn't know if that's legal or not. So you can there's a nice, so you can say array list of string. But it turns out they've added a nice syntax that says, well, listen, if the compiler is smart enough to figure out what that string should be, I can just get rid of it and have an empty diamond there. So here the compiler is inferring that what you're doing here is initializing an array list of string. Great.
So it would,
yep.
Before, because you were adding a string, it was giving you what you were adding to the collection, in this case, was a string object. It already, the compiler went in and looked at, oh, and there's parenthesized algorithms.
That's right.
And they did I think, they call it like auto boxing?
Boxing, okay, it's not auto boxing in that case. Boxing is when you take like a primitive, like a little int, and then you send it to an API that takes an object. And in the Java type system, a little int is not an object. So there's this language feature which will automatically convert that little int to a big I integer, which is an object, and put it in there. What this is saying, the reason this is lighting up all yellow, is like this code right here says, hey, I've got an array list of something. And this is saying, well, you're adding a string to an array list of something. I guess that's okay. Wouldn't it be better if you were specific about what that something should be? And so that's why it's much happier when you say it's an array list of string.
So in those videos, the screencast from, I can't remember the guy's name.
The Uncle Bob stuff?
Not
No.
Uncle Bob, the other dude.
Oh, the test-driven development stuff, Jim Shore, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He did this thing where he took for example, your new student, right there, that last
Yep.
line there, and he was using Eclipse, but I also found it in IntelliJ where he took that the right hand side of that assigned statement. And
Yep.
He exported it as a method.
Yeah.
And he just called what you might call here is new student. I guess. Can you comment on that? He also he had some term for it, like he was calling it like either you could do that or you had a setup block. And I was curious what he did looked cool. I mean, he just took that and made it into this method, and then I guess you tweak it. But I don't know what.
We did that last week, as you may recall, with these like create student with GPA and create student with name and GPA. So there, yeah, we had this as part of our red-green refactor. When we refactored, we saw that we were creating a student over and over again, and there were lots of similarities, right? So you might remember that. And so that's what we did there as far as refactoring, extracting out that method. I'm guessing what Jim Shore did in the video, I don't remember off the top of my head, but you mentioned that you put in a setup method.
And he also referred to something called a setup block, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what a setup block is. It's probably a setup method.
Okay.
And so one of the things I don't use them terribly often, but let's say that you've got. You're sort of like testing every test maybe uses the same object. So what would be a good example? I don't know. Maybe you would create an empty appointment book for every test method or something like that. And so then instead of line 1 of your test method being, hey, create me a new appointment book, you would say, hey, listen, let's put that off into a field of the test class. You'd have a method that is annotated with at before, and then JUnit knows, hey, before I run my at test method, I'll run my at before method. Then I'll set up some state for my test. I'll run my test, and there's also an at after annotated method that you can have, which will tear things down afterwards. So yeah, that's probably what he was talking about. And there are times when that's the right thing to do. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, good question. Okay. So all student attributes are included in the toString. So when I have this student, and then I'm going to grab this expected again. Oops. Student test. And so in this case, I would expect, I'm going to assert that Dave.toString equal to that big long expected string, right? So this is that same test that we have for an integration test, but just working with the student object. Okay. Well, so now what's going to happen when I run this? Okay, it blows up. That's how surprising. Not everything's implemented, but let's see what I got. So I said expected Dave is GPA blah blah blah, and I got Dave 3.64. Okay, well, this tells me where I'm at and gives me something to work towards, right? Okay, this is good. So we're not there yet. So we're going to ignore that. Okay, so what test should I write next? Student with classes, okay. So let's see here. Oops. What about the student with classes? How about student with, well, 0 classes? Let's start there. Okay, so let's see here. Student equals new student. Oops. Name. Do we care? No. Name classes. So no classes. GPA. Who cares? And then doesn't matter. Actually, do we have? Oh, we don't have something that does that already. Okay, and then this class is here. Let's create that local variable. Okay, and so what should we expect here? What are we looking for?
Classes dot is empty, or not what two strings, sorry.
Do we even care about that much? I think we just care. It's like, hey, it's got 0 classes. So and actually, that's a really good point. So it's like, how much do you want to test in this test? Do you want to test that it contains the name? Do you want to test that it contains the GPA? Well, we already have tests for that, and so then this is nice and specific. So I think I'd prefer to just say, hey, what's the new piece of functionality here? Oh yeah, the 0 classes. So okay, let's give that a try. Okay, so then we're going to run this one. Okay, we are definitely red. Okay, so it's like containing 0 classes, and all I got was name 3.64. Okay. So what do we need to do? Let's take a look at toString. We've got name, we've got GPA, and now we need to say this will be like classes.size and classes. Okay, there is no classes. Create field classes. Tabular data, no. It's going to be a list of string classes and multiple choices. I want the Java util list. Everything looks happy. It's yellow. Why is it yellow? Private classes field is never assigned. Oh yeah, remember that mistake we made last time? Let's not make that again. We'll say this.classes equals classes.
Why wouldn't you use array list?
Why would I use array list? Okay, yeah, so like, why do I use array list here and then list up here? What do you guys think?
There may be some later implements. Like, aren't there a couple types of array list? Or I mean, don't we have two? Like, list is list of a list is above, or is it list below on the hierarchy?
List is an interface that is implemented by array list.
Okay,
so an array list is a list.
We can decide. I mean, that's kind of a little piece of encapsulation, isn't it? In the sense that we can change around what kind of array we actually want to, or what kind of list structure actually want to implement the interface.
Yeah. So list is more abstract. List is a super type. It's an interface that's implemented by array list, and for all we need is just the functionality of a list. And so if we say, hey, listen, all I'm going to need is the list functionality. I don't care what kind of list it is. I don't care if it's an array list. I don't care if it's a linked list. I'm just going to be abstract. I'm going to program to the interface, not the implementation. So yeah, so I say that the type that I'm going to use is just a plain old list, and this gives me some flexibility in the future if there's a different kind of list I want to use. So it's one of these things where it's like you're not going to need it. You're not going to need the more specific type. Just use the more general type. Yeah, good point. Okay, I've got classes. Let's give it a whirl. I think I got everything going. I'm going to run my test again. Hey, and it passes. Okay, so red, green, refactor. I got some yellow here in my my program. I'm not sure I like that too much. So let's see what this yellow is. Unchecked assignment, Java array list to list of strings. That's right, I'm doing it again. I got one of these types where there's no generic type, and here I want to use a generic type because I know that it has classes in it. So let's make this an array list of string. As a matter of fact, as we're just talking about programming to the interface, I'm going to get rid of this array list. There's no reason that a student should care that a student should only take array lists. The reason that I have it there in the first place is because, well, this was Project Zero. This is the first code that the students ever saw. If they weren't familiar with interfaces, and actually this is back before I probably wrote this long before there were things like Stack Overflow. I was worried that the students would be confused. You guys would be confused by the list interface. So I used array list. But you know what? We've all learned an important lesson. I don't think we need to use array list anymore. Let's see here. There's one other yellow, and it's probably the fact that gender isn't used yet. Well, so I should just have a gender field, right?
You haven't written a test case for it yet?
Right. I haven't written a test case, so I could be like, I know I'm going to need to do that. Starts talking away in my head that, yep, I'm going to have to do that, but not yet, right? Baby steps. Because what if I did that? I could do it. I might get something wrong if I don't write a test for it. How I know I did the right thing? Oh, it takes it's spend more time. So I'm willing to live with this warning right now, knowing that, yep, I will need that parameter eventually. I suppose I could just take it out. And probably in the real world, I wouldn't add that parameter until I actually had a test case that needed it. But we're working from the template, and that's the way it goes. Okay, so this guy, no more yellow. He's pretty happy. Let's look at the integration. Sorry, let's look at the other the test. I've got yellow all over the place now. Oh yeah, not so happy about these unticked assignments. I'm just going to add some generics here. Same thing here. Okay, I'm learning all sorts of good stuff about generics. Look, now, is everything green? Everything looks green. Good. Green little check mark. Okay, I'll run my test again. Looks good. I want to run all of my tests now. Yay, everything passed. One was ignored. Okay. Excellent. So I think I'm done. So I'm going to check it in. Hello. Expand all the folders, please. Thank you. Okay, and I'm going to say... print out, well, a student with who is taking 0 classes. Okay, good deal. Okay, well, I'm on my way. Oh yeah. Okay, what's the next test I should write? The project assignment doesn't say. So no, I don't think we have an upper bound. We have a lower bound of 0. I'm pretty sure it does say that it is okay. Yes, a student may take 0 or more classes. But no, for the purposes of this, we don't have any restrictions there. What? No? Yeah, that's good. What? Student with classes? Okay. How many? Sorry, what was it? Again, 1. Okay, student with 1 class. Oh, I just did Command D to duplicate. Student with 1 class. Okay, so 1 class. Classes.add and Java. And what should the string contain? 1 class. What? 1 class, 1 classes. Whoa, really? Okay. 1 classes. Okay. Let's do it. Yeah. Oh. Okay. String 1 class says the string contained 1 class. Okay. So let's fix that. Okay. Yeah, I was red. Now I'm green. Refactor. Okay. Let's see here. The yellow, I think it's the same yellow I had before. Yep, gender. Okay, let's take a look at the student. Oh, okay. See an opportunity for refactoring here?
The student's the same again.
Okay. So I'll take this little piece of code. I will say refactor, extract, method, and what? Create student with classes. One code fragment that can be replaced. Yes, replace that other one. Okay, cool. And let's see how I'll rerun this. Still works. But I should know that I know that I should rerun all of my tests before I check in. So I'll rerun all of my tests. Ah, something's failing. Oh, that's right. Let's see here. It says string containing 0 classes, but was, oh yeah, 0 classes. Okay, so then it was this student test. Oh yeah, I should be expecting this now. Okay, now I'll rerun them all again. Yay! Okay. So let's go and check that stuff in. Okay. So taking one class. Okay. What's next? Yeah.
I have a couple questions. First of all, can you remind us, or me, or anybody really, what the Hamcrest package is offering?
Yes.
Which feature is that?
So if you go and watch the JUnit lecture, their JUnit offers Hamcrest is all about assertions. So remember there are those 3 steps to your test. There's the given, when, then. So given is like set up something. So in this case, the given is create the student with these classes. Okay. When I do something, the when I do something is invoke student.toString. Then I expect something to happen. And the I expect something to happen is captured in an assert. So I'm saying that, hey, listen, under these circumstances, I am asserting, I am assuming, what I believe to be correct is the following. Okay. So the JUnit framework by itself has an assertion facility, which gives you the ability to say things like, hey, is some Boolean expression true? Assert false. Are 2 objects equal? And this works nice, but it's kind of limited. So you can't do things like, hey, assert that a string, something contains a certain string. You can, but you end up saying, the expected string dot contains this other string, and you're asserting true. And so if it breaks, all all JUnit tells you is that, oh, you thought some condition should be true, it was false. It doesn't tell you what the condition it was. It doesn't give you what Hamcrest gives you, and so this assert that is Hamcrest. It doesn't give you the nice sort of side-by-side comparison of the 2 strings.
So it gives you so it's building out on JUnit. It's a more rich version of.
Yes. Better matchers is what I call it. So matching expected to.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get the names? Because I was fooling around with it. How did you get it? So, for some reason, I couldn't get the namespace to work so that you didn't have to put in a search dot.
Ah.
What was it? There's something in the import statement.
Right. So. What is this? This is matcher. Sorry, this is core matchers. Okay. So core matchers. Right. Okay. So. Yes. Contain string is a static method on the class core matchers. There's a language feature in Java called static import, meaning that when you import something, you look at the import statements here. You've got import statements that import classes like core matchers, and then you can also do this import static, which will import a static method of a class. And so then IntelliJ. Sorry, where am I going? IntelliJ, if you say, alt return, one of the things is like, hey, what I can do here is I can add a static import for that method. Gets rid of the class as a static import, and therefore, and then you have something that's much more readable, right?
Okay, so you have to do it, but you have to do it kind of static method by static method.
Yeah.
You can import all the Hamcrest functionality, but then if you want to have that nice namespace where you don't have to say, have the class identifier in front of it, you have to put an import static. Okay.
Right. So yeah. So you can have the language syntax of class name dot static method name, or if you can import that method, you can import the method with an import static like that. And IntelliJ makes it nice and easy for you to automatically do that. Yeah. Good question. Okay. Oops, yeah, student test, okay. So I have a student with 0 classes. I have a student with 1 class. Should I have a student with 2 classes? Yes.
Should we test to see if the student with 1 class, toString also contains Java?
Ah, yes. Actually, it looks so. Yes, we should. But let's think about the other question first. Should I have a test? Should I have a test that is student with 2 classes? Say no. Yes, you said no. So, okay. So you don't think we should? Okay. Does anybody think we should?
I think we should test multiple.
Yeah.
Just loop through it.
Keep it a for loop going. You need a for loop in there. Implementation problem.
Okay. So then, how many classes for multiple? 3. Okay. Okay. So then, yeah, we'll choose these 3. That's interesting. It didn't find this in the refactor. Oh, because the name was Dave. Right. That makes total sense. Okay. So then, okay, we'll use these 3 classes. Okay. And so then, what should we assert here? 3 classes. Okay, like this. Okay, let's run it. Oh, look, it passed. No red. Is that a waste of time?
We should also test that the string contains the names of the classes.
Okay. Is that in this test or is that a separate test?
Probably separate.
Or a separate test? Okay. So we'll just make a note of that. Let's see here. ToString contains names of classes. Okay. Back to this one. Did we need this one? No?
Does it hurt to leave it in? Or create it in the first place?
Yeah.
Extra coverage.
Yep. Extra coverage? Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Doesn't give you extra coverage. That's true, right? Because it's already passed. So presumably, yeah, presumably your code had already been covered by other tests. This is a gray area, right? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. On the one hand, it sort of is going to be kind of warm and fuzzy, like, okay, I'm aiming for 3, it works for 3, good, I verified that. But on the other hand, it's like, well, shoot, if it doesn't fail, it didn't really provide any value.
What if later you change something that screws up the 3?
That might
for
be
3 but not for 1.
right. So like, what? Yeah. What if? Yeah. So yes, in the future, it might be that there is a case that would involve different logic for 3 than it would for 1 or 0. Yeah.
In the end, isn't our students ToString gonna print out each of the classes in order?
It will.
So
Yep.
that ToString is actually going to change from printing out the 3 classes to printing out algorithms, operating systems, and Java.
I think it'll still contain this, but we'll see when we write that test. So maybe it is worth keeping it in. Let's keep it in. Okay, let's see if it becomes useful, because maybe, yeah, we'll change something and it'll fail. I don't know. Okay, good deal. But yeah, let's work on contains the name of classes. Okay. Oh, sorry, more.
When
Yeah.
we testing this, when we wrote the test case, we wrote it for something that is not part of our functionality.
Right.
So how advisable is that? Why did we write something that tests something that we don't want in the final code?
What don't we want in the final code?
Do we want that?
Oh, we don't totally have that, right? Because yeah, we definitely have that. Oh, as a matter of fact, this is wrong now because we need to have the parens. Okay, you know what? I don't like those parens. Man, I think that's hokey. Come on, we are computer scientists. We know how to change things. So I want this to be 1 class, and I want this to be 0 classes. Okay, so I'm going to run my tests again. I want to run all of them.
So would this be a good argument for leaving the test case in because you're changing bits and pieces?
I think it is. Yeah. Okay. So I ran it. A bunch of stuff failed. I am going to hide the past tests. There you go. Now I can just focus on the ones that are failing. So student with 0 classes. Expected a string contains 0 classes. But I got 0 classes. Okay, so I got to change that in toString. Good. Okay. Run all my tests again. They all passed. Is that what we expected?
Yes, because it still contains the string class.
Oh, yeah. Right. That ain't right. Okay, so what should we do? I mean, yes, this passes, but it's not testing what I think it should.
One class colon.
One class colon? Okay. Okay. I added it there. Should I also maybe augment it in other places? So 3 classes colon 0 classes period. Okay. Ooh, things are getting interesting. All sorts of stuff. Okay, everything's failing now. This is good, right? It means we got some real code to write now. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we got 0 classes, 1 class, and 3 classes. toString, okay. Well, let's see here. Classes.size, classes. So sometimes I want this. If I did that, some more of them will pass. But 0 and 1 still fail because 1 I want 1 class, 0 I want 0 classes. Okay, we need to be a little bit more clever here. Okay, so I am going to say, so now instead of just simply appending this, let's extract a method which is what? Get number of, I want to say format, number of classes. And now I need some logic. Logic. Okay, so this is, and we'll call it, oops, not, have a variable which is number of classes. Okay, so if number of classes is 0, then return 0 classes, period. Else if number of classes is 1, return 1 class, colon. Otherwise, oh, and you know what? Sorry, I'm actually probably running my tests in between this. I should see some of them. Oh, well, I guess not really, because like I say, otherwise. Oops, what's going wrong here? I am missing a bracket. There you go. Otherwise, return number of. Wow, I'm just doing lousy there. Okay. Stop. Return number of classes. Did I get it right? I did! Yay! Okay, so I was red, now I'm green. Refactor.
Does Java have the ternary operator?
Oh, it does have a ternary operator. Yes.
Use that thing?
I wouldn't use it here. But no, actually, let's see. Okay, that's an option. What would this look like for the ternary operator, though? So, number of classes equals 0. Then, then you'd want this. Otherwise, if number of classes equals 1, then return this. Otherwise, return this. Oops. Well, it works. I don't know. I'm not a C programmer in 1982, so this to me, I find it hard to read. Right, and so now we're sort of arguing aesthetics and things like that. Maybe a Lisp programmer would think that's beautiful. I'm not. So my preference would be this. As a matter of fact, where I was going is like, oh, what was a switch statement? I don't know. What do you think, switch statement?
Well, I mean, you either, it's kind of nice in terms of like you really only have, it's like, well,
Yeah.
you really only have 3 cases though.
You only have 3 cases, right? So
Does that somehow save a lot of memory?
no, there's absolutely no. So
That's
the
kind of
JIT is probably smart enough to generate exactly the same machine code from both of these, right? It'll do the analysis and say, oh, look, it's, you know, so the byte code will be different. The byte code for a switch statement is different byte code, but then the JIT, the JIT is a just-in-time compiler. That's the thing inside the virtual machine that takes the byte code and not only transforms it into machine code, but also does a lot of optimizations. This is a very basic optimization. It would definitely generate exactly the same, either exactly the same code or code that is equally performant. So I don't think performance is an issue here.
So it's just purely readability.
Yes, and for me, readability wins out almost every time.
Well, and that is pretty readable. Your 0th case kind of exactly corresponds to 0 classes. Your 3rd case exactly corresponds to.
Yeah, I don't know. Meh. How often do you use a switch statement? Let's use a switch statement. Hopefully we won't regret it later. All right. We spent.
How did you change it to switch?
Oh, how did I change it to switch? I said so. I just happen to know. Oh, actually, so notice that when I put my cursor on the if, the little light bulb appears. You can also instead of clicking on the light bulb, you can hit it's Alt Enter on the Mac, probably Control Enter on the PC, and then that pops up this little menu. It says, "Hey." You know, it's like little clippy. Hey, I see you're trying to write an if statement. Do you want to replace it with a switch? And so then you can also remove braces from the if statement. No, no, never. When I was a graduate student, I spent like the better part of a day trying to debug a problem because I had 2 statements indented under an if statement and I didn't use braces. So I always use braces in my if statements from then. And then you can just. Anyway, IntelliJ is smart enough to say, well, you can replace it with an if, this if with a switch, and there you've got it. So that's how. Okay. Let's run my tests again. Let's see here. This is all the tests. Okay, everything passes. I think we've had enough of that. So, okay, so now we've got... so what have we got? What the hell did we do? We added that thing. Oh, yeah, right. 0, 1, and multiple classes have different formats. Okay. Okay, one more test case, and then let's take a break. Okay, so what's the next one that we need to write?
Class names.
Right, toString contains the names of classes. Okay. Yeah, okay. So let's see here. How many classes do we want to start with? Should we start with 3? Let's start with 1. No, what do you want to do? I like starting simple. Let's start with 0. So it's like, so 0 would be what? 0 classes have no class name. Lame. Okay. Okay, so what do I need to test here? 0 classes, and then what? I guess it's this. Yeah, is this an interesting test?
You do a regex.
What would you look for?
After the classes or something.
So what did I put here?
Or you could do some kind of regex test where you make sure that the classes end after classes or 0 classes.
True, but you know, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think this is sufficient. Oh, you can say like it doesn't contain a colon? Maybe? No, I don't know. Yeah, that one's not so interesting. Maybe something will come to us later. Let's skip over that one. Okay, so we'll just revert that change. Forget it. Okay, toString contains the name of one class. So we'll just go here, and we'll say the following. One class. Okay, so assert that student toString contains what? One class colon Java. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's try that. Yep, sure enough, it's got this thing, does not contain Java. Okay, cool, let's go to toString. So now format of classes, and then we'll want a space, and then format class names. Create that method, and let's see here, what do we want here? We want string builder, SB equals new string builder, and then for string class name in classes. Right, I can't just have it be class because class is a keyword, right? So class name in classes. You know what? No, forget this. This is the year 2016. We have lambdas. We're going to use a lambda, damn it. So we will say classes. We'll say this dot classes for each, and then oh goodness, I need a consumer. New consumer of look at all this good stuff. Okay, takes one of these things. I want to say sb dot append s. S in this case is going to be the class name. sb.append. Oh, I guess this is good enough. Okay. IntelliJ is telling me something. Can we replace the lambda? Can be replaced with a method reference? Okay, so replace it with a lambda. Okay, so for each thing in classes, I'm going to say, hey, send each element to this lambda. The argument is going to be called class name, so each element is in class name. I'm going to say append it. There's still some more yellow. What's IntelliJ telling me? Can be replaced with a method reference. Whoa! So when you watch the Java 8 lecture, you'll see that you can do this. There's also a nice syntactic tree that's been added to the language that basically says, hey, for each element of classes, invoke the toString method of the SB object with that thing. Is anybody else's mind kind of blown right now? Yeah, a little too much? A little too much? Okay. Yeah. I don't think I'm ready for that jelly. Okay. So we'll go back to something that makes sense. Class name. Ah, I can read it. Okay. Return sb.toString. Someone had a question? A couple questions. Yes. You in the back. Yeah.
In your webcast, you were talking about how the overloaded class operator just uses the string builder.
Yes.
underneath the hood. So shouldn't that mean that we should just always use that? Just like you're doing in your teaching?
Okay. So I do string equals empty string s plus equals class name return s like that. Yeah, it's readable. It's probably like, well, yeah, it's probably exactly the same thing. Normally when you have a for loop, you want to use a string builder as the kind of thing that like on like the Java interview questions, because normally you don't want to append inside a loop. Here, I don't think it's a terribly, it's not a cardinal sin, it's sort of like a little very minor sin to do that. And this might be more readable, so let's leave it here.
Do you need to put a space in between them?
Do I need to put a space in between them? Will my test pass if there is no space in between them? Let's find out. Passes. But good question. Oh, should I put a space there? My answer would be not yet. That's one of those things where you got, I know, right? Because I wanted to do that. I almost started doing that. And I'm like, oh, wait, I don't need it yet. And this is a part of that discipline that makes TDD kind of hard. You gotta pull back. You've got to wait until something fails before you add it. And that way, you're guaranteed only to add stuff that's necessary, and you don't have extraneous code, extraneous logic that isn't tested. So it's not the code that's bad. It's the fact that there's logic that might be executed and you don't have a test for it, so you don't know whether or not it's right. Right? Okay. Good. Okay, so that one seems to be passing. So student test. What was that? One class is in the, yeah, okay. So the name of the class. Okay. Name of a class is in the toString. Okay. Okay, toString contains names of one class. It should be name of one class. Names of two classes? How many? Okay, three classes. Three classes. What should this be? Algorithms. What? Comma. Operating systems. Oxford, comma. And Java. Oxford, comma. And that's what we do at Oxford, isn't it? And Portland State is the Oxford of... Anyway, what?
What about operating systems, not operating systems?
Oh, thank you. That's just a typo. Yeah, okay. Operating systems and Java. Okay. Okay, exploded just like we expected. Yeah, containing... Okay, I need some commas and some spaces. So go to toString. We'll find the format class names method. Okay, so what do we need to add here? So we need to append that that comma in the space, right? Sometimes. Not after the last one. Gotta put in an and. This is getting tough. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, let's see. You got the last one. How do you know it's the last one? We don't with the nice pretty for loop. We've got to make it an ugly for loop. Help me, IDE. Replace for each loop with indexed for loop. Okay. Classes, that's lame, so we don't need this variable. Let's inline that variable. Okay, wow, now so we went from like Java 8 syntax, which was scary, back to like Java 5 syntax. The reason now we're back to Java 1 syntax, where it's like, okay, fine. That's all right, that's all right. Okay, so, okay, we've got it, and what do we need to do? Okay, well, first of all, we're going to append the class name. Now what? Okay, okay, all right, if statement, okay, good place to start. What is the logic here? If I is the last one, okay, so yeah, if this dot classes dot size, so if we're -1, so if we're the second to last one. Oh, okay, all right, last two, okay. And then what do we do here? This gets me every year. Okay. Okay. So let's start with, okay, so if there's only one of them, so like let's see here, the second to last one we want an and. Okay. So we'll say s plus equals and a space after, I think. You had your hand up. Maybe you know something that you sure? Okay. Okay. Otherwise.
Just go to the second to last one.
Sorry, what?
You could just iterate to the second.
Sorry. Wait. Okay, a couple things. What?
Shouldn't that come after the comma?
Yes, it should. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. So I print. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna print algorithms. So when we start again, it's algorithms, and I want a comma after that. Am I the second to last one? No. So I've got operating systems will be the next one. I'll print that one, I have a comma. I am in the second to last one. I'll do and I'll print Java on the last one. And a comma at the end, all right?
Above that comma.
Yep.
Do an if it's equal to the last one.
Oh wait, it passed. Really? Do you believe it? I don't. Do you? I don't. Wait, did I only run that one of them? I only ran one of them. Wait, let's run all of them. Let's run the whole thing. Okay, and hide the ones that passed. Wait, they're all passing. I'm a genius! No, I don't know. Oh, and a period at the end of my test. Okay. Let's, hey! We're good. Well, so what do you do in this situation? Commit, right? I mean, what?
Fix your test.
Fix your test? What's wrong with the test?
Put a period at the end because right now it's not catching things that probably needs to catch.
Okay. It's working. Okay, so I think you're right. I think we do need to do that. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like there's going to be a comma after the Java, and then, okay. No, that's fair. So let's see here. So let's put a period here, and then we should probably also have a period here, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so now, yeah, now let's run. Okay, now it's going to fail. Okay. Okay, cool. This is why it's important to consider your tests, right? So it's like, strictly speaking, it works, but it wasn't right. And we're all surprised by that, right? So we're new intuitively. It's like, it can't be this. Yeah, it can't be this easy. Okay, so now, okay, we've got a period after that. So, all right, Java comma. There's also a space after it. Ah, yes. Horrid. So, okay, first of all, we're going to need a period at the end here, plus period. Yeah, okay. So, actually, and this will help one of the tests, right? This will help the one class. Oh, no, wait. One class. Why is that broken? Oh, because it always has it. Oh, okay. Right, okay. But isn't this nice? That you're sort of like, the test is telling you when things are wrong, or you get this immediate feedback as opposed to like, I think I got the logic right, no, I guess it'll be good enough, and then you have C minus. Aw. Right, so, okay. So what? I only want to have a comma when what? Is not equal to the last classes dot size minus 1. Hey! Okay. Red, green. We're feeling pretty good about that green, right? Do we need to go back and tweak the tests anymore, the existing tests anymore? Okay. Not the prettiest code in the world. I think it's...
Iterate about the second to last one.
Huh?
You can iterate size minus one. Then add it to it.
Oh. So while it's less than I minus 1, and then return... So what and then say s plus equals this dot classes get 0? No, wait, the last one. This dot classes dot size minus 1, that thing? You can tell by the eyebrow, I don't know, he's thinking something. Ah, red exclamation points. Array index out bounds exception minus 1.
What do you have to change it?
Change what other thing? Yeah. Yes.
Seems like you might want to write a test case for two classes.
I was getting there. Yeah, you're ahead of me. So that's good. So we've got those ones. We're passing with 2 and 3. Yeah, let's consider. Sorry, we're passing with 0. Yeah, with 1 and 3. Let's consider 2 classes for a moment. Let's find out. ToString contains names of 2 classes. What should this be? So 2 classes. Oh, thank you, in operating systems. Thank you. Ah, forget that. Okay. Okay, so I expected 2 classes algorithms in Java, and I got algorithms, comma, and Java. More logic. Okay, it gets confusing. Okay, so now what? I is greater, no, I, so this is, so this is driving me crazy. I have this dot classes size all over, and let's just change that to be number of classes. Not necessarily fewer characters, but I think that's easier to read. So if number of classes is greater than 2 and that, add a comma. No, yeah, I can see you wincing there. It's like, oh god, this code is, and it is. This is why you have the refactor, maybe? Oh, no, so it doesn't like it. ToString contains names of 2 classes. Oh, everyone's that. Okay. So is greater than 1? No, I messed up the space. Does that work? Nope. Oh, no, it's a, okay. Sorry, what? I have an else here?
Yeah, and then just say s plus equals space.
Then you append the space. Nope, I blew everything up. Okay.
You have 2 classes, you need a comma, right? So if number of classes is greater than 1, then add a comma.
No, that didn't work either. Why didn't that work? Sorry, what? If add a comma?
If you have 2 classes, you add a comma, so number of classes is greater than 1, add a comma. So change the 2 to 1.
But you don't need a comma with 2.
Wow, we're not Oxford.
That's right.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Hey man, solidarity with the Brexit or whatever. Okay.
Just put another if statement there for now. Just split those two. And we'll refactor later.
Well, we have to get it working first.
Yeah, so if the number of classes greater than 2, then and
Like this. I gotta admit, I'm kind of guessing at this point
You just have
because I've completely lost interest in trying to get this to work. This is
you have a
stupid.
case just for 2.
A case just for 2. Okay.
yeah, right. That's
So-
what I'm saying.
oh,
So
sorry,
go
sorry,
back to the
sorry.
original what you originally
I
had,
even skipped the 1.
and then just have a case for 2.
This is why there's undo. Now I kind of wish I committed before we had that other test. Okay.
Do it outside the 4 loop and then skip to that.
Wait, outside the for loop.
If you have if class size equals 2, just do append with that.
Oh,
And then just have
yeah.
another if statement if I is not equal to number of classes minus 1.
It's okay. Wait, what do we got here? Okay. So, 2 classes, algorithms and Java is what I expect. We have algorithms, we have no space before the and. So we need a space before the and. Oh, maybe that's the thing. What if we did that and that? No, then we need to have a space before. Oh, well, if it's that, and then otherwise, else, we just append x plus equals space. Because we have the comma, we do that. Does that work? Damn it. Algorithm comma. Oh, it's got that. Okay, now it's got that. Okay, else if. Now, if we're not the last one. Yay! Victory is sort of ours. Okay, everything's passing. Refactor? I don't know.
Take a break.
Yeah, I mean this is awful. So this is when you take a break. I'm gonna commit it because boy, if I have to if like lightning strikes my computer and I have to do that again, I'm gonna be really unhappy. So okay, handle. Well, let's see here. Format the number of class or the classes, the names of the classes Oops. No, stop. I don't want to help them. Okay. Classes that student takes. Yep, and it's time to take a break. So we'll ponder this over the break. We'll be back in, let's say, 10. Thanks.